I think.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And they're just so excited to have Supercross here in